To you live from Numancia, Aklan in Western Visayas in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of tea. Tea is my choice of drink right now. Green tea is what I'm drinking. Let me just make sure I am online here. Hope everybody is having a good day. Busy morning for me already. I took mom and Leanna really early today. They wanted to be at church early. Like we left the house at like 5:30, and then after I dropped them off, I already went on my morning walk. I just got done with my morning walk, and man, it is bright and sunny. Like right there, you can see it's bright and sunny already. My morning walk is getting earlier and earlier because the sun just keeps coming up earlier, so I'm trying to beat the sun from on my morning walks because I have to avoid the sun. Actually, I have to wear a lot of sunscreen, hat, sometimes umbrella, because it's not good for me to be exposed to the sun. My oncologist told me try to avoid the sun as much as possible, and I do. I try to avoid the sun. That's why my morning walks are getting earlier and earlier. It's still dark when I go outside on my morning walk. I try to get when it's still dark outside. Hey, Charlie Lads, good morning from Boston, Charlie. All right, thank you so much. Kim Mandal, good morning. Gino, hey, good morning. Just getting the live stream started here. Joe Cano, brother Joe. Good morning. DJ, hello from Wyoming. All right, Wyoming Cowboys. Kim, r- read somewhere they are going to build a bridge to Boracay. Is that true? I would say it's true. I would say it's true. Right now, a lot of opposition building that bridge from the mainland Aklan to Boracay Island. A lot of the local government, the even like the governor, the people in Aklan, they're worried about the income more likely because when you build the bridge, you won't need the port anymore. So I know, and that's a money maker for the province of Aklan. The environmental fee alone for each person, tourist going to Boracay Island is 300 pesos per person. The terminal fee is 150 per person. So it costs about $8 just to have the right to go to Boracay Island. And when they build the bridge, I'm sure there's still going to be payment, with the toll because San Miguel Corporation is going to be building the bridge. Uh, but for me, it's like for me, it's long overdue. I think the bridge is long overdue. Right now, the way they transport people from mainland to Boracay Island is just so inefficient, dangerous at times. It's like I've ridden the pump boat. They call it pump boat, whatever boat they take you to Boracay. And during the rainy season, that thing is like doing up and down on the water. They got this skinny wooden ramp plank. It's almost like a pirate's plank that you got to climb up with your suitcase. People are like stumbling. It's just not a efficient way to move people. And then many times people get stranded in Boracay Island when there's a typhoon, no ferries, just a lot of things that I think the bridge will fix. Just my opinion. Most people here are against the bridge because they say it'll ruin Boracay Island, but I don't think it will. Good morning, Bry, Sir Gino. I'm in Boracay right now. All right, Bry. Hope you're having fun, man. I saw the pictures of Boracay, man. It's like fantastic, right? Beautiful weather. They got the dragon boat a competition going on. They even had like a sand castle building thing. All kinds of activity right now in Boracay. Man, you're going to Boracay at a good time. Lots of things to see, lots of things to do in Boracay. And that's the thing that people always say, oh, Palawan's so much better than Boracay. Boracay's a tourist trap. I just think it depends on what you're gonna do. It's like if you're if you have a family or you got kids, you're going to a place, your kids are going to want to do things, right? Your kids are not just going to sit on the beach and like an empty beach and nothing to do. Your kids are going to want to eat. They're going to want, to get American food. They want to watch things that will like blow their mind. And that's what Boracay, I think, that's why it's the number one tourist destination in the Philippines. Said hi, Charlie Les, Joe. Hi from Venus. From Venus. All right. All right. No more fees to get to Boracay anymore. They could try to put a bridge toll. For sure. For sure. I'm thinking they will toll people to enter Boracay because San Miguel is a private company. They're not doing this for free. San Miguel is there for profit, and they're not gonna allow vehicles to go to Boracay. People are like, oh, it's gonna congest Boracay with all the vehicles. Doesn't make any sense. They're not gonna do that. It's only gonna be the delivery trucks that deliver to the hotels, personal vehicles. They're not POVs are not even allowed in Boracay now. Even a motorbike, you got to get a permit from the municipality of Malay to ride a motorbike, to bring your motorbike to Boracay. So nothing's gonna change except that there's gonna be a bridge transporting people back and forth. You can ride your bicycle to Boracay. You can walk to Boracay. So to me, it's a win. I think it's like people. A lot of times people don't like change. That's the thing with people. When I landed in Boracay in 2011, I remember people used to think, oh, they're ruining Boracay with all these hotels, the Henan. They're building these massive hotels in Boracay. But to me, all that is progress. It's like Boracay gets 2 million tourists now a year. And before the big hotels, before the Henan hotels, all that, people get nostalgic. Oh man, I love Boracay in the 80s. Nobody was there, very exclusive. But it was almost impossible to get to Boracay in the 80s and 90s. I was here. My first trip to Boracay was in the 90s. It was a trek just to get to Boracay, long boat rides, ferries, long jeepney rides. Now it's so convenient for people to go to Boracay. If you're from Manila, if you're from Cebu, if you're from Angeles City, in an hour and a half you can be in Boracay Island. To me, it's access, more access to people to enjoy it. Before, it was so exclusive. Boracay was like, they had those propeller planes that would land in Boracay. Man, you gotta have some money to afford those small, tiny planes going to Boracay before. Now it's accessible to more people. More people can experience Boracay Island. Jokano, good thing you weren't here today. I did one of your pet thieves. I burned a bunch of piles of, yeah. It's not a pet peeve, man. It's like I'm glad that they don't burn trash here in the community because, man, it smells. When you burn trash here, we can tell. Like when somebody's burning trash outside of Camellia, even because it's in the air. When they burn leaves, they're not just burning leaves here, unfortunately, Joe. They're burning like plastic. They're burning everything, burning all their trash basically, and it's in the air. And to me, it's not healthy to be breathing those things. Branches, leaves. I would not have a big problem with that. But when you burn plastic, there's a lot of toxins in plastic. Happy Sunday, brother, and the rest of the Panay Posse. Hey, Brian, counting down, man. Pretty soon we call it single digit. Single digit in the military, man. You're gonna be a single digit coming here to the Philippines, and hi, Charlie, Jokano, Brian. Hey, Tex Pat, my brother in Galveston County, Texas. All right, Brian, good to see you. Good to see you on the live stream. Boat owners in Caticlan have a tarp posted in their boats. No, yeah, they've had those. They even wear T-shirts, "No to the bridge." They got tarpaulin, "No to the bridge," and I can see, they're gonna lose their business. But to me, they're just gonna have to find another, source. It's a boat. It's not like you can't fish with that boat that they have, or move to another island here in the Philippines. I'm sure, there's a relocation plan, maybe even a subsidy from the government, or maybe a subsidy from San Miguel. But just a lot of things to me. I've watched it over the last 15 years, how inefficient, how they move people from mainland to Boracay, Boracay and back. There's actually been boats that sank before crossing that little 15-minute ferry ride. There's actually a couple of boats that have sink before. Imagine you're on vacation and your boat is sinking and you're like in life vest and getting rescues. You don't want to be in that situation if you can avoid it, man. That's not a good look. That's not a good look for Boracay when stuff like that happens. It's supposed to be the number one tourist destination. You want to turn it into like a good experience for travelers. Right now, even the system that they have now, it's like, to me, it's just so inefficient. You land in Nabas, Aklan on a plane. You got to ride a tricycle to go to Katiklan to the port. It's only 10, 15 minutes, but some days it's hot, some days it's rainy. When you get to Katiklan, it's dusty in there for some reason. There's always dust in the air. People are wearing masks. You're going to Boracay Island. You're wearing a mask on the tricycle because you're afraid to breathe the air. And then you get to the terminal. There's like a massive line. It takes you an hour just to process to a terminal. Which is like ridiculous. Yeah, people say, well, that's not the problem. They should make the system more efficient and all that. They can fix that without the bridge. But I've been here 15 years and they've never fixed that problem. So it's not like, to me, like I said, I'm for the bridge. I'm for the bridge. Maybe groceries, goods will be cheaper now on Boracay, right, Kim? Because they use that. They use that. Oh, Boracay is an island, so everything in Boracay is 20 to 25% more. Produce, fruits, canned goods, rice, everything in Boracay is like 20 to 25% because they said the shipping cost. Everything's got to be ferried to Boracay. So maybe I'll make the prices there more reasonable. They are having like a dragon boat this week. Yes, I saw that. My friend, he's got a channel, Relax Kalang channel on YouTube, Facebook. I keep posted on all the things happen in Boracay because he lives there. He works and lives in Boracay, and he does YouTube on a side gig. So he's like, I'm always getting updates for him regarding Boracay Island. Hey Gino, just returned from Southern Cal. Oh, congratulations, 27th wedding anniversary. That is awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations, Joel and Eileen. Kim Mandal, might be more crowded there now. The congestion at terminal could control how many tourists visit. With the bridge, could be very busy. We won't know until the bridge gets built. We won't know. It would still be tourists, mostly going to Boracay because even the locals here in Aklan province, the dynamic for locals here in Aklan province, they don't have to pay all those fees. But a lot of people here don't go a lot to Boracay Island. When I met Dazzle, she lives in Katiklan. Just a ferry ride to Boracay, right? She could see Boracay from where she used to live. And before I met her, she said, we would rarely go to Boracay. It's only a handful of times that they went to Boracay. Because for locals here in Aklan, it's like working people, you're farmers, you're fishermen, Boracay is expensive. It's like, that's, the hotel cost, the food cost, the going to Boracay, it's like, it's not cheap for local Aklanans. Congrats to you both on 27 years, Brian says. Hey, good morning, Lucita. Good, Lucita, my good friend in Maine. My good friend in Maine. Ooh, finally, my tea is it was too hot earlier for me to take a sip. Right now, it's like perfect. This is like Bill Meyer. Good morning, prayers, Bill Meyer. Thank you. Don't forget, smash all right, thank you, Brian. Smash the like button. Yo, my my good friend, my brother Tim in Viva Las Vegas. All right, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Lowell, kamusta from Oregon? Kamusta, Lowell? Mabuti ako. God bless. God bless, my brother. Emilio, let's go Dodgers. I know, man. The Cubs beat us yesterday, man. A terrible comeback from the Cubs. But hey, game two today. I actually got it on my big screen here. It hasn't started. It doesn't look like it started yet. It doesn't look like, but I have it on my TV. The Dodger game against the Cubs. Joe Cano. Howdy, Lucita, Emilio, and Lowell. Hey, that's Belize. Billy, good morning, my brother in Leyte. Good rains, perhaps in May. Small storms next 2 days. This morning, when I was walking, Belize, I did see some clouds. It looked like rain clouds, but it dissipated really fast. It's like once the sun comes up here, man, I don't see hardly any rain clouds now. It's all sunshine here. And let me talk about the weather since I always start with that anyway. With the weather right now here, it's 76 degrees Fahrenheit here in Numancia, Aklan. It did say here a thick cloud cover with couple of showers, but it may be different areas in Aklan. Maybe got showers, but not in our area. We haven't seen rain here in a couple of weeks now. Pag-asa, the Philippine weather people here. Yeah, pretty much Metro Manila and the rest of the country. It's gonna be like this for April, probably more in May. Partly cloudy skies, isolated rain showers. It is summertime here in the Philippines. It is hot. uh, During the day here, we're reaching triple digit temperatures here. Like today, let me look at my notes here. The heat index, the Pag-asa, they are predicting that it's going to hit 45 degrees Celsius. So let me do the math on that. Let me put it in here and see. 45 that's 113 degrees Fahrenheit. They are predicting, Pag-asa is predicting 113 degrees Fahrenheit in Dumangas in Iloilo, here in Panay Island, and also Butuan City, I think that's in the northeast of Mindanao. It says here may hit 113 degrees Fahrenheit heat index. And it's not dry heat. I have seen dry heat. I lived in Tucson, Arizona before, and when I lived in Tucson, it would even hit 120, 125. But it's dry heat in Arizona. As long as you're in the shade, you're okay. It's like here, it doesn't matter if you're in the shade, man. It will still, the humidity makes it feel like a lot hotter here in the Philippines. They actually, like in places like in Iloilo, actually Iloilo City, plans cooling centers to combat rising heat index. It's gotten so bad that even Iloilo City, they are the mayor there, Mayor Trenias, they are developing areas where you can cool off. You can cool off in Iloilo City. Providing water stations for people, because the temperatures are just like extremely high right now. But perfect for Boracay. Perfect for Boracay because you're right there on the ocean. You got that nice ocean breeze. You got the water to cool off. Lowell, hello Joe. God bless from Lowell. Howdy Joe from Lucita. Hey Belus, Mr. Vanilla. Kim, nice outfit. Gino, all blue. Yeah, I'm Dodger blue today, man. We gotta get on a winning streak here, man. Smash the like. Thank you, Thank you so much, Belus. Appreciate that. Lowell, morning, Belus. God bless. Ray, hey Ray. Good morning, my brother. Thank you, thank you. God bless, Raymond. Expat, hot, too damn hot here in April for me. It is. It is. I mean, to me, this is like the hottest time. May might even get hotter, but man, it's just hot during the day here. We got the fan going here. We got all our windows open here in the bottom floor here, but it is hot during the day. Definitely hot. I even have the fan here and blowing on me. And this early, I can already feel the heat, man. I can already feel the heat. It won't take me long to start sweating here. Good morning, bro. Hey, there's Michael C, my good friend, and Trece Martires in Cavite. Copico, you're having your Copico. Me, I had to switch to tea, man. I'm trying to limit coffee. You know, it's like people telling me more healthy to drink tea. So, hey, I'm all trying to stay healthy. Watching your videos from Canada makes me want to plan another visit. I understand, man. I understand. You know, it's like and that was going to be actually my topic this morning. Let me see if I have any more news items here. Um, because people have been contacting me. I've got like two, three new people that's contacted me, and now I'm going to be assisting them in their move here to the Philippines. Here in the Calibo, you know, because when I was talking, one of them is Lawrence. I was talking to him. He's in Southern California. He said he's done with the U.S. Man, he's ready to like. He's got his pension. He's got his Social Security. He said, "Man, I want to try something else." And you know, a lot. That's a normal beginning conversation with me. I actually had a audio call with him. I haven't done a video call with him, but I have one yesterday. We talked for about an hour. He needs to do a lot of research for sure. The feeling I get because a lot of people they'll say, you know, I want to go to the Philippines. You know, I want to try out the Philippines. But what's important, what some people don't do, is the research portion. Even me, man. Before I moved here to the Philippines, I was born and raised in the Philippines, but I had spent over 30 years in the U.S. Man, I needed to like research the current situation in the Philippines and what are my options. You gotta know before you get here how your tourist visa or visa requirements, your banking requirements here, things that you know. There's a list of things that you got to make sure you have an idea. You just don't want to hop on a plane, get here, and you're gonna be lost. And a lot of times I tell, you know, I was talking to Lawrence yesterday. I was telling him it helps when you can find somebody here in the Philippines. Go in the expat groups, especially the area where you're going. You know, find people in that area. You know, on those groups, you know, yeah, people mention, I'm from Palawan, I live in Bohol. Connect with those people and start asking people that are boots on the ground. You know, I know a lot of vloggers, right? There's like hundreds of vloggers here in the Philippines, you know, that vlog about the Philippines. Contact those vloggers, you know, make use of those vloggers. That's what my friend Ruben, he's in Calibo now. He's been in Calibo now almost a year and a half living in Calibo. But before he decided to live in Calibo, he contacted a vlogger in Davao. He contacted a vlogger in Dumaguete City, Angeles City, Iloilo. He contacted me. And then finally, he just felt comfortable with me to where, and I told him, man, I'll help you. You know, come to Calibo and I'll help you. And the same thing I offered Lawrence. If he comes to Calibo, I'll at least assist in him having a soft landing in the Philippines. Make use of those vloggers, man. Those vloggers, I mean, they're talking about the Philippines. Making the Philippines feel so inviting. Ask them for help. See if they have, if they're gonna help you. And chances are they will, because that's part of being on YouTube. It's like to help people. Ray, good at here in Tracy. Oh, nice weather, man. Oh, man, I would love 62 degrees Fahrenheit, man. I wish I could share it. I know, man. I would love that weather, Ray. Captain Ron, oh, so Gino, the heat of Arizona with 100%. Are there any close by? Yes, the closest waterfalls from our house here, I can be at Hawili Falls in Tangalan, 30 minutes. I could be, and what's nice about Hawili Falls is I don't have to hike. You know, some of these falls, you know, there's a lot of falls in Aklan. You can go to James and Karen's Adventures, and James is like trying to hit all the waterfalls here in Aklan. But a lot of times, those waterfalls, man, you got to trek. You know, there's some hiking involved with those waterfalls. But Hawili, what I like about it is I can park my car at Hawili. There's a resort, right? I can park my car and a 5 minute walk, I'm at the waterfalls. That's the beauty of Hawili Falls. But water is not an issue if that's what you're looking for here in Aklan Province. We're surrounded, you know, half of Aklan Province is coastal, half of it from Buruanga, Malay, Nabas, Bahay, all the way to New Washington, Calibo, at Numancia. We got beaches here. You know, you're not gonna be worried about not living close to a beach here. Lots of rivers, fresh water, clear river where people are still swimming. You know, water so clear, you're almost like tempted to drink the water. It's so clear because we're provincial. You know, Aklan Province. The size of Aklan Province is uh, pretty big, bigger than Metro Manila. Like the area where Metro Manila, all those millions of people live in Metro Manila. Our land space here is a lot bigger than Metro Manila. In the whole province, 17 towns here in Aklan. We have 500,000 people. So you can tell like we're not crowded here. You know, Numancia's not crowded, Makato's not crowded, Malay is not crowded. You have open spaces of like rice fields. People love riding their motorbikes here because the minute you leave Calibo's like the biggest town. About 100,000 people live in Calibo. The minute you hit past the bridge, wide open roads, man. You know, it's like no traffic to worry about. Michael C., you are right, bro. I switch up regularly from ginger tea, but you are Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I still drink coffee. Don't get me wrong, man. I still love my French vanilla brewed coffee at 7-Eleven, but I gotta like cut down on coffee. I was only drinking 1 cup of coffee, maybe 2 cups at the most per day, but I've cut down now to like maybe 3 or 4 cups a week. You know, I'm hitting the green tea more now. Hey, anything to do, you know, anything I can do to help my health, man, to improve my health, I'm all for it. I don't drink alcohol no more. You know, back in my military days, you know, I used to like beer, but I cannot even tell you the last time I had a beer, man. Sell it. All right, sell it. That corn. All right, cooling. I did that. I did the cooling centers in Iloilo City. The school here in the Philippines. I just wanted to like for the school year 2026 2027. The schedule of school here. They're gonna break it this year into three. I guess. Semesters, I guess you call it 3 terms. The first term, June 8th. So June 8th is the start of school, and then it's gonna end 15 September, and then the second is like 16 September. I mean, that's like not even that's the next day. I don't know why they break it, but they're gonna break it into three semesters. September 16th to December 18th, and then January 4th to April 8th. 2027 is the end of school year. So next year, 2027, April 8th is the start of vacation next year. I saw this article and I wanted to discuss it a little bit. Um, how the reason why so many people here in the province, especially here in our region, Western Visayas, Central Visayas, and even Eastern Visayas, a lot of them go to the cities. You know, they'll go to either Cebu City. A lot of them go to Metro Manila. Is the provincial wage is lower here. it's not like in the U.S. where you have a minimum wage. Here you make more money. You make more money in Manila. Or like right now, they're showing. I think it's higher, but on this article, they're saying in Metro Manila area, the pay per day is like 610 pesos. About $10 is the minimum wage. But here in the province, it's as low as 350 pesos. That's $6, not even $6. So a big disparity, almost half of money daily wage that you can earn here in the province in Visayas and Mindanao compared to Metro Manila. That's why they're trying to fix it. They're trying to I know they're trying to implement like a national wage, but um, it hasn't taken into effect. That's why even now, Metro Manila is so jam packed with people. Millions. Estimates range from like 18 to 20 million people in the Metro Manila area. Uh, you know, it keeps growing. It keeps growing because that's where the work is. All right, I'm gonna hit the topic that I wanted to discuss. Um, I thought about the topic because I read this article here. This was a post from a foreigner. There was a post from a foreigner on one of my Facebook groups, and I'm gonna tell you the story here real quick. But let me go through the comments. I don't want to get too behind. Gino, a video there and traded for a video and traded for a few days at the resort waterfalls. A video. Yeah, I have a video. Like I've done videos of Hawili Falls, Hawili Beach, that area. In one of my playlists, I've done videos of it before. We have been getting warnings to prepare for earthquake in late. Oh, earthquake, 7.1. Oh, that's a big earthquake. Hopefully not. Hopefully we don't get a 7 is a high. That's a big earthquake. So waiting for a big shake soon. We pay 500 in the province full time, 400 part time, and a lot of bonus crop sharing. That's very good. That's very good. But you know, I'm just reading from the article. Maybe in your area, Belus, that's what they're paying. But this article here, and I know here in Aklan province, I know 350. Some even pay less. Some even pay less than 350. It depends on the employer, but there's a lot of people. Unfortunately, a lot of times take advantage of the situation. But the article, the main crux of the article is just a higher wage in Manila. I know they listed like 600, but I know it's even over that. I know people. That's why a lot of my even my batchmates that I graduated from college here in Aklan, when we graduate in 2016, I would say close to half of them are in Manila and in Cebu. They're not working here in Aklan because you just can't make money here in Aklan. No, it's 300 here. Oh, okay, 300. That's what I thought. That was, I didn't, 500. So it's 300. That's what I thought. 500 for a province, man. Nobody will leave the province in that case. Nobody will leave the province if you can make 500 here in Aklan a day for a work, and 500 is like $9 a day. If a person here in Aklan can make $9 a day, they would not leave Aklan. They would love it here because the cost of living is lower here than if you go to Metro Manila. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the story here real quick. It says here, my friend, his name is Mike, called me a couple of months ago from Cebu. Seriously made me laugh. Mike was 65. He retired in the Philippines on a monthly pension. A few years back, he met a Filipina online, common dynamic, right? Meeting a Filipina online and hit it off, flew to the Philippines twice and married the Filipina. With his pension, his landing in Cebu, he pictured beaches, easy days, whole retirement dream, right? To me, it's like you already met your Filipina, you got a nice pension, you're going to Cebu, you know, you're golden, right? You're golden. It's like, man, what more can you ask? But this is what happened to Mike. First week when he was in the Philippines, no hot water, which is typical. That's not, I think I've done enough videos to tell you most homes here in the Philippines do not have hot water. You would have to like install a hot shower just for the shower system. You can buy them at a hardware store here, but you can't, I have not seen a whole house here that has complete hot water throughout the house. No, those hot water machines in the U.S. I just, not even my subdivision. I know none of my neighbors have that kind of system. Some will have that unit attached to their shower so they can at least have a hot shower. So first week, he landed in Cebu. No hot water. He was taking a shower using a tabo. I think pretty much everybody knows what a tabo is. It's like a scoop to scoop water out of a bucket, with cold water on the bucket. So he was taking a shower doing the tabo method on his first week. And then the bed that he had, I don't know if he rented a furnished apartment or whatnot, but the bed, solid wood on the bed, and really thin foam. Very common here in the Philippines, where you got a wooden bed and the foam about that. It's like no mattress, no. In the U.S. you got like a box spring and mattress. Not common in the Philippines. A lot of times the bed here is just wood and like a foam about that thick. So roosters screaming 24/7. That welcome mic here in the Philippines. You got lizards. You got lizards crawling on the ceiling. That I know that for some people that haven't experienced that here in the Philippines, or if you've lived in America in a developed country, you don't have lizards crawling on your walls or your ceiling. Very common here, unfortunately, in the Philippines, that you'll have lizards inside your house. Luckily for us, I haven't seen a lizard inside our house I can't even remember the last time I've seen it. I don't know, because we have a lot of cats outside. Maybe the cats are killing the lizards. I don't know. But before I would see lizard, but it never bothered me. Like a lizard is just a lizard. But for somebody from a Western nation, I can see that. I said, whoa, what's that? What's that thing crawling on my wall or my ceiling? He told me he spent a couple of months walking around like an old man who got hit by a truck. Because it is, a lot of times when, especially if you're coming from a developed country, you land in the Philippines, and especially if you select a province. If you select BGC, Iloilo City, Cebu City, the transition might be a little easier. But if you select places here, like here in the province, it could be a lot of things will surprise you for sure. He said his back was killing him from his bed, but I'm sure he'll fix that. I'm sure most people learn quick. Man, the minute they sleep on a bed with that foam that thin, they're like trip to get a new bed for sure. And then after months of living there, this story goes on. After months of living there, he's adjusted. Mike has adjusted, and that's the thing. It's like the initial landing here in the Philippines. That's why I always tell people it's so important to find that soft landing here in the Philippines. When I say soft landing, uh, it's an ease to transition in the Philippines. You don't want to come to the Philippines unprepared. Uh, Preferably, you have somebody like me sponsoring you, at least guiding you to the process, letting you know to avoid some of the mistakes that you will make. And you will make mistakes here. I made mistakes moving here. There is no expat that landed in the Philippines that everything worked great for them. You're going to experience mistakes here. To me, that's why I talked about it before. It's so important to find that sponsor. Uh, a person in the area where you're going to at least guide you. I mean, the guide doesn't have to be there 24/7 for you, but like when you land in Calibo, have somebody in Calibo to meet you. Hey man, that's a market, that's a tricycle. They charge you 15 pesos for the tricycle. There, you get your pandesal here. It's safe to walk here at night. You know, those kind of things, you know. It's just intimidating, I think, when you go to a place where you have no clue of the area. You're looking online for an apartment, and you're not even sure if it's in the safe part of town. Of course, the landlord's gonna tell you, "Oh yeah, we're safe here. Nothing happens here. You know, we don't have roosters here. You know." And then when you get to the place, you know, you just got catfish. Like my friend Daniel in Cebu, in Lapu-Lapu City, man, he got catfish with this apartment because like they're showing this apartment to him online, but when he lands in Lapu-Lapu, it wasn't the same apartment. You know, it's like he's paying extra money for the place that he picked. Waterfalls makes you feel good by releasing high concentration of negative ions when inhaled. Increase serotonin levels. I can see that. I can see that, Captain Ron. Every time I've seen waterfall, for me, the beach. The beach is my. If I wanted to relax, spend a few hours just sitting on the sand. You know, lay down a blanket, just lay there in the sand, underneath a coconut tree, feeling the breeze of the ocean. That to me always relaxes me, puts me in a good mood. But waterfalls definitely would be part of that too. I'm sure. Peanut Butter Travels here. All right, Peanut Butter Travels. Hi, Peanut Butter. Joke a note. Just think in the US, you pay a big price to buy geckos and then have to buy a pen with heat lamps. But in the Philippines, they come free. Yeah, and they're tiny. You know, it's not like gigantic. It's not the monitor lizard. Now that's an issue. If those things come in your house, but it's like tiny. They're tiny. They don't do harm. I mean, they eat bugs. You know, so it not a big thing. And I haven't even seen them. Like I said, I haven't seen them lately. I don't know what happened to them. Before I used to see them in the house once in a while. Castaway Drift. Good morning, Gino. Good morning, my brother from another, the Duke of Duma in Dumaguete City. So I'll continue with the story like that. You know, he talked to his friend. His friend told him, and now that he's been here a few months, and Mike's been here, he says, mate, I'm not moving back. You know, it's like and that's the thing, you know. I have seen that, not personally with a person that moved here in our area in the Aklan province, but I see stories where people tried the Philippines and then, you know, they just bailed, went back to the US, went back to go to another country, and that's fine. You know, there's like, in the Philippines, it's not for everyone. But a lot of times, you know, people make a mistake. They select an area in the Philippines that doesn't fit them. You know, so to me, you know, that's so important. That's so important. Like, do your own research, know yourself. You know, list down what are you looking for in the Philippines. You know, it's like if you want to be in a beach area, you want to be up in the mountains with cooler weather, like Joe Cano, and he wants cooler temperatures. You list those and find areas in the Philippines that will match that. A lot of times, you know, the mistake a lot of people make is like they meet the Filipina online, and the Filipina unfortunately lives in an area where it's not fun. You know, it's not a good place. Like places in Mindanao, you know, a Filipina lives in Mindanao, and now the foreigner is moving to Mindanao. Even I wouldn't want to go to Mindanao and live in Mindanao. You know, nothing against them. You know, it's just, you know, it's a Filipino thing. You know, most Filipinos, man, Mindanao is like low on our places where we want to live. But you know, it's like you select a. To me, I always tell people, select a place in the Philippines where you want to be. Don't base your selection in the Philippines based on a Filipina that you met online. You know, to me, that's that. You know, you will meet Filipinas here. I don't understand what is the big rush into meeting a Filipina online. There's plenty of Filipinas when you land here. Anywhere you go in the Philippines, you can go to Dumaguete City, you can go to Calibo, you can go to Bohol. Anywhere you go in the Philippines, you're gonna meet a Filipina. I have not met a expat that moved here to the Philippines that have not met a Filipina. You know, it doesn't exist. You're gonna meet a Filipina when you come here. And he continues on the story. He bought a bed. He bought like a box spring bed. He sleeps better. Blood pressure is down. He's down 20 pounds. And that's one thing I noticed with a lot of my expat friends here. When they move here to the Philippines, a lot of them walk because the weather here is so nice most of the time. I mean, we get rainy season, but for the most part, yeah, the Philippines encourages you to do more things outdoors because of the weather. So you can walk on the beach, you know. JP in Calibo, he's walking in the Calibo, you know, in the morning. He does 10 kilometers a day of walking in Calibo. So one thing I notice is people lose weight, you know, like this gentleman here, he lost 20 pounds. He lost 20 pounds in a few months. The bucket of showers didn't break him. He bought himself a unit. He bought himself a unit so he can take a shower. There are things here that can help you improve your life. If hot water, hot shower is really that big a deal to you, you can get those unit about $200 at a hardware store. Have it installed in your bathroom and you got a hot shower. If the water pressure is weak in your house, there's pumps that you know, or there's pumps that you can get to be installed in your. There's ways to like improve your comfort. You know, you don't have to sacrifice. You know, it's like you don't have to sacrifice comfort here. Unknown, unknown. He's telling a lie. I'm telling a lie. All right, no worries there, my friend. Henry, how we're doing this? Doing good. Thank you, Henry. Appreciate that, Henry. We have weeds at the farms that go for 30 to 40 USD in the US. When my dogs, I smile. When my 15 geckos visit me at night, I smile. You adapt. You know, it's like, it's not, you know, but I do know, Belize, you know, not, you know, some people that, you know, it freaks them out. You know, it's like, I had a friend, you know, he an apartment in Calibo. He's now, I think he's gonna be in Iloilo, more in Iloilo City now. But I remember he was even freaking out. You know those millipede? There's a millipede. It's not a centipede. Centipede, I'll be worried. You know they do that thing. They move fast. A millipede like walks really slow, but they crawl. They crawl on the floor. And here sometimes I get a millipede inside my house, and I'm looking at it. I just take it outside. I pick it up. I take it outside. You know, right? It's not. But I do know some people get freaked out by that. You know, ants. You know, it's like ants. It's an issue here in the Philippines if you don't watch it. Like me, we use that green leaf powder. It's supposed to be non-toxic for my dogs. So my dogs, it's not poison for my dogs. But we put it like on the entrance of our house, like at the doors, and it kills that. It eliminates ants. But if ants get in your house, there's ways to like fix that, you know. But I do know people. I have a friend, another friend from Hawaii when he visited me, and he was staying at a hotel. Actually, he was staying in a hotel, and there were ants in his room, and he was freaking out. But man, there's ants in my room. I was telling him, dude, it's ants. You know, they're not gonna kill you. The ants are not gonna kill you. But I do understand that, you know, this is a tropical country here in the Philippines. There's a lot of things here that's gonna, you know, the bugs here. Man, there's bugs here in the Philippines. You know, even me, when I see the bugs, sometimes I go, "Dang, that's a scary looking bug." You know, that's a gigantic bug. You know, but it's a tropical nation. You know, you can't avoid not having bugs here, especially here in the province. It's louder. It is. It is louder in the Philippines, right? Even on my videos when I was walking in Iloilo City, man, the one thing I noticed, you know, the same thing happens here in Aklan, same thing in Numancia here. For some reason, motorbikes here, they like to modify their muffler. They make it loud. So when they accelerate, their mufflers make a loud sound like a Harley Davidson sound, but it's a 125 cc. It's a tiny scooter, but like when they crank it, it makes like really obnoxious sound, but it is what it is. Those are the kind of things that you would have to adjust here. The Filipinos, they're not going to adjust to you. It's what I always tell people. They're not going to change their ways here. You can complain all you want about the Philippines. The people that you're going to be around, the local people. This is their way of life. This is how they do business. They're not going to change for an expat here. No matter how loud you complain, you can even go to the barangay captain and complain to the barangay captain. And the captain is going to go, okay, write down your complaint, and but nothing changes here. All right, Brian. Thank you. I'm with the heart. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sunday ice cream. All right, all right. When the sheriff wakes up, and then Mom and Leanna should be coming home here soon because I dropped them off at church. Long church today, man. They've been there till like 5:45, and it's already 7:30. But maybe they stop somewhere. A lot of times after church, they have they call it pulong. Pulong is like they after church they even like the group starts talking, kind of like. I hear a tricycle. That might be them. Speaking of the Mom and Leanna, that might be them pulling up now because I hear a tricycle outside. JP Calibo, good morning, JP Calibo. Brian, you rock. All right, thank you. He does. Brian does rock. I'm sure you're done with your walk already, JP. 7:30. I already did my walk. I did my hour walk here in our neighborhood. Brian, good JP, Captain Ron, Gino, just wondering if you promote a resort's business with a video, would they let you stay there for free? I have not gotten that with any resort. I've not gotten that with any resort if I promote them. Maybe I don't know. My channel is small. Maybe a bigger channel. It's like, but for me, the only times I really like film and promote like a hotel, a place where I stayed is if I like it. I have stayed at places where I didn't like it, and I won't film it because I won't do that to their business. But if I stayed at a place and I found that the place is reasonable, the staff is good, the stay was a good bargain or good price for the stay, I'll make a video. But I've stayed at places where I was happy with the accommodations, and I won't film them. I won't film them because I don't want to ruin anybody's business or anything. I need to find insoles for my shoes. My feet are getting worn out. Hey, that's good though, man. That's good. That's good exercise. Just order it from Lazada. They ordered it from Lazada, JP. They got plenty of insoles in Lazada. Just order it, and when you get it, if it doesn't fit properly with your shoe, you might have to do some adjustments, some to tailor it to your shoe. But they also have a shoe repair if you want to get your shoes repaired. If the shoe like opens or breaks or something, they have a shoe repair by the shopping area in Calibo. I've had a couple of my shoes repaired at the shoe repair here. I swear on Blue Arrow that Gino speaks the truth. Gino speaks the truth. Gino speaks. Thank you, JP. Appreciate that, my brother. Lowell, morning, JP. God bless. JP, let me know if you can't find good insoles. I can put some in my luggage. All right, Brian. Thanks for that. Hey, connect, JP. Connect with Brian there. Michael C. Dude. Me and Rose are fighting huge spiders now. I mean huge, but we adapt. She kills them, and I had you hide upstairs. We had one. You know, they have this a big spider. They have this one big spider, but when we researched it, when Dazzle and I researched it, the spider, it's not like it mostly eats bugs. It's I forget the name that Dazzle told me, but it is scary. I think I know it's black, right? It's like with long arms. And I think I know what you're talking about. That big spider, man. GP, hello Lowell, Captain Ron, Deleuze, okay. Oh, there's a lot of people, man. There's a lot. I didn't even realize there's a lot of our regular people on the live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. But like on the story I was telling, it's like now that he's been here a few months, Mike on the story, he's adjusted to the lizards, to the bed. He fixed that, the hot water, and that's the thing. It's like you know, just because you're living now in like a developing country, you have access to all the luxuries you have pretty much that you had in the U.S. You can improve your living condition here. You got to spend. You got to spend, especially uh, a lot of times if you're living in an apartment, especially if the apartment's like unfurnished. Like me, when I lived in Calibo, I rented a unfurnished apartment. My rent from 2012 to 2016, my rent in my apartment, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, my rent was 7,000 pesos. About $120 was my rent. The same apartment rents for 8,000 now, only an increase of $18 a month. But it was unfurnished. So I had to get things to make it comfortable for me. Luckily, the apartment had a hole already in the bedroom. So I put a window type AC in the bedroom. So my bedroom was at least cool at night. I have a air conditioning, like a window type AC. I didn't get hot water for to me. I've never had hot water here. The only time I take a hot shower here is if I'm staying at a hotel. In our house, we don't have hot water. I like cold showers here because it's so warm here. To me, it's refreshing to get. All right, there I see Mom and Leanna being dropped off by the. I had to buy a one burner electric stove. I bought a tiny fridge. So you buy things to make your home more comfortable or your apartment. There's Leanna. How was church? How was church, Leanna?
Good.
Good. All right. All right. And there's mom. There's mom.
Hello, good morning.
They're home from church. They're home from church. Captain Ron, JP, did you go to the fishing tackle store? Any good stuff there? JP, Joe Cano. When my sister was dating my future brother-in-law, he was in the Philippines and loved my mom's cinnamon rolls. She sent him some. They were stale and covered in ants. Ate them anyway. Ate them anyway. And that's common with Filipinos actually. Like when ants get into food here, like something, they'll just brush the ants and they'll still eat it here. It's not gonna go to waste here. It cracks me up to see grown men think locals should cater to them. First thing I say, bro, you have zero rights here to be on your bed. Exactly, right? It's like, and they're not gonna change their ways here. The way the Filipinos does everything here, nothing an expat, nothing a foreigner can say will change anything. That's one thing about Filipinos. My 15 years here living in Aklan province. Change is not one of the things they really accept easily. Very hard to change anything here. People are used to the way things are done here, and they just stay. Example. Um, the Katiklan Jetty Port, the port going into Boracay Island. Um, when you go to when you enter the port, coming from the airport, or you land the airport, you take a tricycle, you get to the port. There's gonna be a desk there, like a reception desk to welcome you. You're gonna have to show your work. They're gonna ask you where you're gonna stay. They're gonna ask for IDs, and then that's just the intro. That's just the intro. That's a line that you gotta line up on that reception. And then they're gonna tell you when you're done in that table, go to window one, for your environmental fee. So you gotta done with that place, you gotta stand in line now to get to pay for your environmental fee. And the lines here in the Philippines, man. The one thing about lines here in the Philippines, there's not one of those like rope things or something to like guide people in one line, or even the snake thing, try to like keep people in line, right? Here, People in the Philippines, unfortunately, and it's not going to change. You're not going to change the way people line up here. There's going to be a line, and next thing you know, there's going to be somebody in your right shoulder, left shoulder, or there's going to be a tour guide with like a official tour, Southwest tours, just going to cut in line in front of everybody because they're wearing Southwest tours. There's, one of the things here, there's just not a lot of respect for lines. Be ready for that. I know a lot of that's hard to take sometimes, right? Especially when you're standing in line, you're just seeing people like left and right, like what the heck's going on? It's like, but it happens here, and that's not going to change. Like, not going to change here. So you go in the line to pay your environmental fee. And then next thing you know, okay, go to the next window to pay your terminal fee. Another line to go in the terminal fee. And then the last line, you got to, on that line, go to like pay your boat fee. Another line to go to your boat fee. I mean, you're coming to a terminal, you're going like, what the heck's going on? At the entrance of the terminal, they're like, x-raying your bags. Okay, I get that. Safety, trying to like, kind of like airport security. There's a line for that. There's a line for the reception. There's a line for the terminal fee. Line for the environmental fee. Line to get your boat fee. I mean, some people, that's their welcome to Boracay. They're not even in Boracay yet. They're like in the mainland, just trying to get on a 15-minute ferry to get to Boracay Island. That is the system that they have. And that's been the system for the 15 years I've been here. Nobody's improved that system. So you go in there, there's a massive amount of people. You can tell you're sweating in there because a lot of times the AC don't work on the terminal. So people, that's their welcome to Boracay. They're getting aggravated already before they even land in Boracay. That's, and then after you get all your documents, right? You get all your documents. Now you got to go stand on another line. There's a tourist line. There's a Aklanon resident line. So you're in the tourist line. So somebody before you enter they're gonna look at all your papers. There's another person checking all your papers, like where's your environmental fee? Where's your terminal fee? Okay, so and when you're traveling, sometimes you got kids. You might lose some of that stuff, right? Or like you put in your pocket. Oh, where did I put that thing? Where did I put that thing? And then after you cross that lady on that turnstile, okay, you think you're done. You're not. You're not done. You gotta go get you already had your boat ticket, right? So you think that's your ticket. That's not your ticket. You gotta walk up to this counter and fill up a piece of paper with your name, your address, your age, and you fill that up, that piece of paper, that ticket that you bought, and you gotta hand it to another guy given your seat at the boat. All that process just to get on the ferry. And that's one of the hang up with a lot of people going to Boracay. Even for me, it's like, for me, I don't have to line all that, I'm an Aklanon resident, so I don't have to line, I don't have to pay the environmental fee, terminal fee. But I can understand the frustration of people. That's just one example. That many process like that here in the Philippines. If you ever have to take a ferry like from Iloilo to Bacolod or Bacolod to Cebu, if you want to take your motorbike or car in the ferry, that's another process that's going to test your patience here. But it's never going to change. They're never going to change their system here. I think, just my own opinion, I think the reason for so many windows, so many person, it employs more people. If you had one person taking care of all that, then you don't need like 25 people working at the port. It's like government employees at the port. Yokano, JP, hoping to be there soon. Yes, we are too, man. We're all hoping, Joe. We're all hoping you will join us here soon. Yeah, that's what Captain Ron. That's what I was gonna say too, Captain Ron. The huge spider eats other spiders, reaches. But Dazzle told me he did research, right? They do bite, but I don't know. But that's what it says. Yeah. But usually when I see them, they're kind of just hanging out, and then a lot of times they don't like jump and attack you. They don't, but they are scary looking because they're like They got big arms. It's intimidating. Kind of probably like a tarantula. Tarantula. I've held a tarantula before. They're scary looking, but when you hold them, it's not like they're gonna attack your hand. JP, Angler's Haven in Iloilo is permanently closed. A few days after I last talked about it on here, I checked and it was permanently closed. Permanently closed. Yeah, I just don't see like JP, Captain Ron. I don't see like places like that here in the Philippines making money. If you open like a bait and tackle shop, if you're selling rod and reel, I just don't think there's a market for it. It's like a lot of people will just go to the mall, like at the sporting goods at the mall, or order online. It's like the telescopic rod and they just buy that. Most Filipinos won't buy it. Most Filipinos probably catering more to foreigners as far as fishing. A lot of Filipinos in the Philippines, man, they're just fishing with a bamboo pole and a string, or the string itself. People go out in the ocean here and they just like a can or plastic, and they're just reeling the plastic, with their line. It's like a really a crude method on like fishing here. They're fishing for food. They're fishing for food. They're not fishing for a hobby. Brian, good morning, ladies. Good morning, Angeli and Lamb Chop. I think they're headed to Katiklan today, to mom's house in Katiklan, because Liana wanted to vacation with the nephews. Our lot in Katiklan, mom's house, is a 5 minute walk to the beach. So I'm sure Liana's gonna go swimming with the cousins and all that with the nephews. Should be fun for a few days, I think, for a few days. And mom's got some business that she got to take care of at her house. So it'll just be Dazzle and I here for the next couple of days. Lowell, tell them morning and God bless. All right, all right. They said hello. Mom's out there outside now. I see her carrying an umbrella. She's walking to the neighbor. Liana's probably packing her stuff to go to Katiklan today. I have 5 times the house I could ever afford in the US. Good Lord. We have 3 internets. You got 3 internets? Huh? I only got one internet. And a guy that sells bread every morning. Rooster alarm clock at 4 a.m. Ants are extra extra protein. Extra protein. JP, I think I went to 6 different windows at LTO to get my license. It felt like 9. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that, JP. That's another place, right? The LTO Land Transportation Office, that's where JP went to get, he took his American license. Now, when he got his ACR card, once you get your ACR card, you can take your ACR card and your American driver's license, and you can get a Filipino license. Make sure if you have that motorcycle endorsement, make sure they put that in your Philippine driver's license. And now JP has that. But LTO, perfect example. Like I said, I got my license here in 2014. I didn't get it right away because I was riding for the first 3 years here. I was just riding my mountain bike. I didn't feel like I needed a license. But when I finally did it in 2014, that's 12 years ago. Same process. I had to go to like they send. I mean, there's like over 9 windows because you can see it. Window 1, window 2, window 3, and they just like go to window 1, go to window 4, and it's not in any order. It's like go to the cashier, go. And then there's a line for each one. You gotta wait for your name to get called. And that room, that LTO room, again, man. During the summer months, it's an oven in there. I don't care even if their AC is working with that number of people waiting for their driver's license there. It just can't handle it. It is like and then when the AC is broke, forget it, man. I've been there. I've actually filmed it while I was there before. I think it was like when I was getting the license plate for Bumblebee. They were finally. it took 9 years to get a license plate for our tricycle. But when they finally made it a law here where no license plate, no, you can't drive. You can't drive your motorbike or tricycle. So I had to get the license plate, right? And it wasn't my fault. They just didn't have the license plate. The LTO here for 9 years didn't have license plates to issue, but they finally, now they had like a massive warehouse full of license plates to give out to people. So you had to go there, and it just happened last June. It happened last June. It took me 2 days, one full afternoon and a whole day, a day and a half in a building that didn't have AC. And I'm PWD. I'm supposed to have priority. I'm supposed to be, when I show my PWD, person with disability, the security guard actually escorts me. There's a chair there for PWD. And I use my card because it's like, it helps you get in front of the line, right? It still took like a day and a half to get a license plate. It's just the way it is. That's the way it is. There's nothing you can do. The systems here are the way they are for some reason. Now, ask me for that reason, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what reason it is, but it's just a Filipino way. It's like you just gotta accept that. There's no like suggestion box. There's none of that here in the Philippines. I've never been to a place here where they have a suggestion block. Or we want to ask you for your opinion, sir, about our service. I have not seen that. I have not seen that here, especially in like a government agency here. Pretty much here, if you're in a government agency, you stand in line, you wait. We'll call your name. They ain't taking your suggestions. It's the way they do things here. Not gonna change. You just got to accept it. It's the way things are done here. 100% agree. Expat life, Brian. Salute, Balloons. All right. I like the geckos. They eat bugs and leave poop surprises on my walls. Yeah, the poop surprise on the walls. But for some people that's never seen that, I think the accumulation of things when you're trying to adjust here to the Philippines, you know, you move into your apartment, you move into your condo, you see gecko walking on the wall, you see big spider, you see ants, roaches, unfortunately sometimes roaches, the accumulation, no hot water, or the water pressure weak, a lot of that, I know, frustrating for many people that move here. But to me, it's just part of moving here. Once you get over that initial shock of like, uh, things aren't not the same. Like for me, things are not gonna be the same like in America. I knew that coming in here. I knew that, and I think most people know that anyway, right? I mean, I think it's kind of naive if you think that the way they do things here, the way they operate here would be the same in a developed country. With the things they do here and the amount of corruption here, unfortunately, in the Philippines, it's there's corruption anywhere you go in the world. It's like there's corrupt politicians. I've seen corruptions when I lived in the U.S. People getting busted for doing bad things, but the Philippines, the corruption level here is just extremely high. Any corruption you've seen before in your life, 10 times that here in the Philippines, unfortunately. And again, that's just part of the culture. Most Filipinos here, most of the people that grew up here, raised here in the Philippines, they know about that corruption. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. Even for the Filipinos, the level of corruption here in the Philippines, it's from the lowest unit, from the barangay, from the city. I mean, it's just it's ingrained in the culture here, unfortunately. And I know it's a lot sometimes for foreigners to absorb. Especially foreigners talk about the skin tax. They're paying more for items here in the Philippines. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. It's like I cannot really say. Even for me, coming here to the Philippines, I'm Filipino American. They can tell. Even my wife Dazzle tells me this. they can tell that I'm Filipino American. That the for one, I don't speak the native Aklanon language here in Aklan province. And probably the way I dress, I'm wearing a LA Dodger hat. I'm wearing a LA, and that's the thing, more likely I'll get charged more, and I'm Filipino. I'm Filipino American, but that's just the way it is. For me, I never worry about it about being getting charged more. I just look at it as like, hey, as long as it's not an exorbitant amount of money, if it's like 20 pesos, 50 pesos, I just let it slide. I don't let those things bother me. What would do this morning, Henry? In town close by, they wanted to see my financials before I could get my wire. Right, right. Yep. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, Elise. About fell over. They said Western Union, then called Western Union. Western advised me to leave. Yeah, yeah. That's the one thing that you will experience here in the Philippines, especially once you meet a Filipina. Once you meet a Filipina, um, people here, you know how in the US there's a certain boundary that things that you don't ask people, things that people in the US, like even like coworkers, like if I was a coworker, I'm not asking my coworker how much money did they pay you here, right? I have an idea, but people don't share that kind of information, right? How much money you make, do you keep that? Or here in the Philippines, man, your neighbors, they don't ask me because a lot of times because they know I'm Philippine American, they're a little bit intimidated, but they ask Dazzle all the time. They'll ask Dazzle things like, how much retirement money does Gino get from the military? In the how much money does he bring home? You know, Neighbors will ask Dazzle that, but for Filipinos, that's not. I guess it's not too intrusive, but like in the U.S., you keep your business hid, like private, a lot of private. Would Lamb Chop shoot short videos for Dazzle TV in Katiklan? I can ask them. I can ask them like on the lot. Maybe I'll ask them. She's got her own phone, so I'll ask them if there it is. That's the name. The Huntsman Spider. That's the name. Thank you, Captain Ron. I was trying to think of it. I couldn't think. The Huntsman Spider. Kids, there make them into pets. I do know even Dazzle growing up. She grew up in Katiklan. Dazzle had pets that they actually not pets. They fight the spider. They put it on a stick like the barbecue stick they use for barbecue, and they fight spiders. As kids, and you keep the spider in uh, a box like what is that, the matchbox, like for matches to light fire. It comes in a box here, and you would put your spider in a box. So that's her growing up. She was telling me she played with spiders. But I don't know about playing with that huntsman spider, man. They go pretty big, man. They go pretty big. You would need a bigger box, kind of like Jaws. You were gonna need a bigger box. We're gonna need a bigger box for the huntsman spider. JP, they did let you go to the front of the line at the LTO. Oh, I did not ask JP that. I did not ask JP that. Fortune. Good AM. Hey, there's Fortune. My brother in Bacoor in Cavite. Good AM, Joe. Happy 27. All right, happy 27 to my friend Joel and Eileen in Park, Arizona. They live by in Park, Arizona. It's by near the Grand Canyon, a higher elevation. Actually, Joel and Eileen, they see like deer, elk, all kinds of animals in their yard all the time. And it snows. It snows up there in Park, Arizona. Good AM. Kim, Brian, Lucita, Lowell Emilio from Fortune. Good morning. Good morning. Fortune. Good AM, Belus. Mike S., the Duke of Duma. Fortune, good AM, GP. Michael, hey, Michael Manalstas. Hello, my brother from Northern California. Did the Philippines get their oil shipment? I haven't really been paying attention with the oil shipments and all that, Ron. Maybe Fortune can say, but to me, like I said, even at the start of the crisis, I know that we're gonna get oil. In the Philippines, we'll get gasoline and diesel from somewhere because we have some of the highest prices of gasoline and diesel in Southeast Asia. So it just makes sense for the oil companies to keep sending them here to the Philippines. It's lowered in price though. I actually saw the last, I think, last at Shell I paid like 90, but I have seen yesterday 82. I seen a one, not Shell but another gasoline station listing at 82 pesos per liter. So a big drop from like 105 now down to 82. So it's come down in price. It's to me, like I said, even before this oil crisis, it hurts. Don't get me wrong. It hurts that you got to pay more money for gasoline, but it's not like a crisis level. I know the Philippine president announced that it's an energy crisis here in the Philippines, but it's business as usual here. Don't believe some of those vloggers like the sky is falling. It's like so expensive for everything here. We just came back from Iloilo City. I didn't see it. I was still paying the same for my Burger King. Same thing for my Krispy Kreme donut. Nothing has, people. I mean, there's like tons of people at the mall. It's like a massive amount of people at the mall. So it's not like I don't see like a big crisis. Hi Gino, do you have dragon boat races in Calibo? No, no, I've not seen dragon boat races in Calibo. Portland, Oregon is a river city and we have dragon boat races every June. Calibo, the reason I don't see dragon boat races in Calibo is just a small town. It's not a city. Calibo's. If you look at some of our videos, I can ride Bumblebee. I can ride my tricycle all the way to Calibo. It's not. It's There's just Rojas Avenue, a few mall, Grand Gaisano City Mall, but it's not a big. It's not a city. It's not like Iloilo City. I know in Iloilo City, I just filmed them. They had dragon boat there. They're practicing their dragon boat there. I have never seen a dragon boat on Aklan River. They'd be hard pressed to get a team because you need a team of at least 20, 25 people. The dragon boat itself, a sponsor, you would have to find a sponsor. Boracay in Aklan province is where all the dragon boat teams are. JP, I did not get sent to the front of the line at the LTO. I didn't think you would. I don't think you would, JP. Fortune. Captain Ron, there's no talk about the shortage for now. Maybe yes from Russia. Maybe for Yeah, I've been seeing I've been keeping an eye on the news and there hasn't been any talk now of any kind of shortage. Like I said, we're paying here in the Philippines one of the highest prices in Southeast Asia. We're paying more than what Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, all those places are for our gasoline here. So it just makes sense for the oil companies to send it to the Philippines way since they can get more money for your oil here. Lowell, morning fortune, God bless. Hey Merle, all right. My brother in San Diego, California. Good morning, Kuya, Gino, and everyone. You look good in blue, man. I gotta represent, man. I gotta represent. Dodgers 3, Cubs 0 in the bottom of the fourth. So we're leading. We're leading. I'm watching the game. Max Muncy on the plate. I'm watching my Dodgers. Hopefully we can tie up the series today, 1-1. Fortune. She has annual. Oh yeah, yeah. You mentioned Fortune had messaged me offline about his wife is an ER doctor in Manila. She's attending a conference in Cubao in Metro Manila. Good morning, Fortune. Good AM, Michael M. Right, Gino. If we import refined, we can get from Singapore and South Korea. Yeah, uh, the initial, of course, the initial, when the war started, the prices shot up for like gasoline and diesel, but now it's not even big news anymore. People are just so used to it now. It's one of those things. The initial shock, prices going from 60 pesos a liter to 105, that 45 peso increase per liter, the initial shock. But after that, it's slowly going down. So now people are used to it. People have adjusted. People have adjusted. People just travel less, do more things in their community. It's like to save on not spending money on gasoline. But Boracay, like Boracay, this week in Boracay and next week in Boracay is called Love Boracay. I mean, with the weather being like this, it's like perfect conditions in Boracay. Just like they're gonna hit over. I'm pretty sure over 200,000 people visiting Boracay for the month of April. Easily they'll hit that number with all the videos and pictures I'm seeing of Boracay Island right now. There's just so many people in Boracay Island because man, when the weather is perfect in Boracay, the white sand, the water, man, it doesn't get any better than that, man. X 60.70. Wow, that's a real. I haven't even checked. Thank you, Belize, for checking the dollar to peso exchange rate. Man, that's nearing 61. Man, that's nearing 61. So the dollar is climbing back up. The peso is getting weaker again. Last I saw in Bacoor is 79 for gas from the high. So from here, the highest I saw in Calibo, Fortune was 105. And then now I'm seeing 82 as the lowest in Calibo. So that's a big drop, 20%, 20% drop there. I sent myself money when it hit 60.75, man. Good deal, JP. President Bongbong Marcos announced energy crisis so he can, yeah, that's the thing. And I mentioned that on the live stream before. The reason the President Marcos announced an energy crisis here in the Philippines because that way he can access emergency funds, kind of like FEMA in the U.S. You gotta declare a state of calamity in order to access FEMA funds. So it's the same dynamic here in the Philippines. But of course, there's vloggers that already sky is falling in the Philippines. It's gonna be horrible living in the Philippines. It is not horrible living in the Philippines, and especially if you're a foreigner, you're an expat, minimal effect on you. Like I said, for me, the effect is maybe I have to pay a little bit more for gasoline. Filipinos, the locals here, maybe less on their motorbike. Maybe instead of riding around their motorbike, maybe they have to take public transportation, or maybe that trip, the vacation, maybe postpone the vacation, planned vacation. But people here adjust. It's like I said, when I went to Iloilo City, I didn't see any crisis happening at the mall there. There's like so many people at the mall. It's crowded. It was crowded at the SM City Iloilo. Oh, there's the Colonel. Colonel can tell you this, man. Right, Colonel? Like at the SM City mall, man, there's just Iloilo, so many people, I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe Christmas time. But right now, I think everybody's just kind of cool off, at the free air conditioning at the mall. Everybody's like hanging out at the mall at SM City Iloilo. Good morning, Colonel. Good AM, Colonel from Fortune. Joel, you oil is being shipped from Russia. U.S. is working with Philippines on that issue. Yeah, yeah. I think I saw that. The Philippines were asking for permission from the U.S., but it hasn't been like I said, the initial, right when the Middle East conflict happened. There was lines, people rushing to get their gasoline. I was one of them. I had filled up all our vehicles with gasoline, but after that, everything's normal here. I can get gasoline. Gasoline's not an issue. We went to Iloilo City. I got gasoline in Iloilo City. We went back. It's not 3.5 hour drive to Iloilo and back. It's like I'm glad that I have a economy car. I'm glad I have an economy car. Hey Goat Man from JP, Colonel Fortune, expat. Every gas pump in the Philippines is fixed. It's rigged. It's rigged. Just smile and tip the pumper for laying you down. Yeah, it's like for me, it's like I said, it's just you pay extra for gas. To me, that's not like a crisis of life for me here. Colonel says, yay bee, yay bee. Morning, morning, Colonel. God bless from Lowell. Hey, Colonel and Fortune. Good morning, Lowell. Brother Baloose. I'm getting ready to head out. All right, our Colonel. Heading out to the goat farm. The goat farm. And chickens and other animals on the farm. Have fun, Colonel. I love Philippines, the poorest in the world paying the most. God is needed here. Hope is needed here. Expats are indeed needed here. Be kind. Yeah, it's like that's why they welcome the Philippines welcomes expat here. That's why there's so many people here on tourist visas, on SRRV. It's like Philippines want foreigners to come here to the Philippines. I'm on that page, the SRRV page on Facebook. Michael C. had introduced me to that page. Every week, there's like, they have a ceremony of like 40, 50 people like getting their SRRV, retirement visa here in the Philippines. Not just Americans, Europeans, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, they're all retiring here in the Philippines, and they're welcome. They're welcome to bring their money here, right? Deposit their money in the bank here. Why would the Philippine government wouldn't want that? Enjoy farming, Colonel from Fort. Hey, Vegas Wheel. Oil prices is about the same for worldwide. PH is paying more because they have to process taxes, etc. Yeah, pretty much. You are correct there, Vegas Wheel. Fortune, great exchange, JP. Got the peak. Got the peak. Captain Ron, in Brazil, over 90% of new vehicles run on 100% ethanol. Ooh, I did not know that, Captain Ron. I think I've heard like some, I don't know which gasoline here in the Philippines has that ethanol mix, like an ethanol mix. I'll have to check the next time I go to fill up my gas tank at Shell. If I'm one of them, if I'm one of them, I think I've seen before where it says 10% ethanol. I think I have seen that. If I can recollect, one of the gasoline stations here in the Philippines says 10% ethanol. Just 10%. Captain Ron, no power. Spike the tank. Spike the tank. That's how I cool off. That's how I cool off. Hey, the farm, right? The farm's perfect to cool off, man. You expat smile exchange rate makes up for the price hikes. God bless all of Gino Morning Show. I salute you. All right, thank you, Belus, my brother Belus in Leyte. Mom is busy. Mom is
Yeah,
busy.
I will cook fish with
Oh, right there. Let me see what you got there, Mom. So this is what's for lunch. What kind of fish is this? Mom bought
Mamsa yan di eh.
mamsa. Mom bought some mamsa fish.
First class yan na fish.
First class. She said first class fish for lunch. And then
don't
she
know
had to
the
get
English.
vegetables. What vegetables she got?
This one.
What is this called, Mom?
Talbos.
This one is called talboy. She just picked this. She just picked this like in the vacant lot, right? Yeah,
this
the,
one.
the vacant lot here in the Camellia, she picked talbos, called talbos. And what's this?
Alubati.
Alubati, another stuff that moms pick. She's just picking from the grass outside here in our community. And I see she's got tomatoes too. So that's for lunch. That's for lunch today. See, a lot of the vacant lots here at Camellia, people actually ask me this: how come they don't trim or they don't cut? They do try. The thing here at Camellia, we only got two gardeners that we pay full time. They're actually employees of the HOA, Joseph and Joel, and Camellia's got like 500 lots. If you can imagine two guys with they got grass cutters here. They're weed whackers in the United States. They got to weed whack all this area. The empty lots here. The people, I don't think they're paying dues. It's like they should be paying dues, right? Because to trim their vacant lot. But a lot of times on the vacant lot, stuff grows on it. Like Mom, she just picks stuff on the vacant lot. Like the alubati, or whatever that is. So, but hey, if it's green, if it's edible, I'll eat it. Not a problem. Edgar, hey Edgar, Mom, Edgar's on the live stream.
Hello, Ed.
Mom said hello, Ed. There you go. There's Mom. She's cooking lunch. She's preparing lunch, Edgar. The bad thing about high fuel prices is that it makes your grocery bill go up. Fruits and vegetables in the marketplace are higher because it costs the supplier. Well, yeah, for sure. I haven't seen it as much. I haven't seen it much here in our Numancia public market, Edgar, because a lot of our the people at the public market here, they're local. They're local Numancia farmers here. And a lot of times, Dazzle and I, we buy our produce. We get it not at the public market even. We get it at the roadside stalls. We have plenty. We have plenty of roadside stalls here in Numancia. I know where you're at in New Washington. Edgar. He lives by the beach now. He's got a beach house in New Washington. They get cheaper seafood where Edgar is. I don't see many like rice field farms in Edgar's area. They're more like a fishing town. New Washington is more into fishing and seafood. Now he gets good seafood, cheaper price seafood, but a lot of his produce probably comes from other parts of Aklan like Balete or Numancia here or Makato. Derek, aloha from Southern Leyte. All right, good to see you. Hey, I'm watching the Dodger game, man. We're up 4-0, but heck, we were up 4-0 yesterday, Derek, and your Cubbies came back on my Dodgers, but we're up 4-0, top of the fifth. Top of the fifth. Same situation yesterday, man. We're up 4-0, man. The Cubbies came back on us yesterday. Max Muncy just tied it. Joel, ethanol, E85 is half the price of gasoline at the moment. PH in California, here, the same price of gas is $1 lower. Yeah, I know we're paying like California prices for our gasoline here in the Philippines. But it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I guess it kind of compensate, the high exchange rate, higher gas prices. Is it true that there's family aswang in Leyte? I don't believe in aswang. That's funny, aswang. They talk about aswang here all the time, Vegas will. In Capiz province here in Panay Island, they're known for aswang. I've never seen one, man. I've never seen that, so I don't believe that stuff, man. The Colonel's Chronicle. I meant to. I go to SMC. Oh, to cool off. To cool. All right. All right. Yeah. Right. That's the best place to cool. And I think everybody's doing that, Colonel. Right. Everybody's going to SM because the few days that Dad's Illinois were in Iloilo City, man. SM City was always packed, man. The food court was always packed. The theater was packed with people. All right, let me see here. The one thing that's like holding down the Philippines, as far as like, I've gotten this question before. How come, how come Vietnam, at one point, we were almost even, but many years ago, we were even ahead of Vietnam, but now they're like surpassing the Philippines. A lot of that, unfortunately, I would have to say my own opinion now. A lot of that, again, corruption here in the Philippines is just so it's hard to combat corruption here. There's certain families here, political dynasties here that control here in the Philippines. And the other thing that really holds back the Philippines is the infrastructure. Um, the reason why Vietnam, as far as like manufacturing, you can see it, right? More products are coming out of Vietnam now, made in Vietnam. There's products in the made in Philippines, but it's like they're way ahead, and it's gonna like zoom past the Philippines. One of the main reason is like the infrastructure here in the Philippines. We have some of the worst electricity infrastructure. Also, there's like it's controlled electricity here. There's certain families again, could be like maybe Fortune can help me here. He understands it more. Um, it's there's corporations. There's that control the electricity here that make a lot of money. Unfortunately, it's the people are the ones that suffer here. Like right here, I found an article. Our neighbors here in Southeast Asia are building mega factories. We are still building shopping malls, and that's pretty much the truth. That's pretty much the truth here in the Philippines. We are not building mega factories that they're doing in Vietnam, in Indonesia. Here in the Philippines, they're building malls. The comparison, just a comparison I'll show you. From 2015 to 2023. So that's a good 8 years. For during that 8 year period, Vietnam, they spent on mega factories. Vietnam spent $42 billion in mega factories in Vietnam from 2015 to 2023. Indonesia spent 38 billion for foreign direct investments on mega factories, right? The Philippines, remember, Vietnam 42 billion, Indonesia 38 billion. The Philippines during that 8 year period, 3 billion. I mean, that's like over 10 times they built in Vietnam and over 10 times they built in Indonesia. And again, a lot of that, I did a little bit of research. A lot of that is because electricity. These mega factories that they're building in, and of course, there's now talk. There semiconductor 4,000 hectares at Clark City. There's talk of building that now, and again, it's talk of building, right? We haven't seen it in reality yet. Everything's like they are bringing it, but compared to like Vietnam, compared to Indonesia, we're like 10 times below what they're building in those areas. And the reason is electricity. Uh, the Philippines unfortunately has some of the poorest electricity infrastructure here in the Philippines. And I think most of us that live here in the Philippines, we understand that. The boots on the ground people here that live here, we don't have like, it's not, people sometimes over exaggerate. They'll say, oh, there's daily power outages in the Philippines, or there's like, long 1 week long. But it does happen. Like last year, Sikihor suffered like a 1 week, no power, no electricity. Boracay Island actually suffered one week of no electricity. And here in our area, we have scheduled power outages. Usually they last about 12 hours. This summer hasn't been bad, right, Mom? As far as the electricity power outage, maybe we get like 1 hour power outage so far. Maybe twice a week we get one power. But you can see the problem with that, right? When you have any type of power outages, that is not good for like investors thinking of building mega factories here in the Philippines, because that just shuts down, production at those mega factories. Um, but that's always, they blame many things. They blame many things about the infrastructure, electricity infrastructure here in the Philippines. But I think the bottom line, for me anyway, just my personal opinion, again, unfortunately, it's the corruption here. The building the infrastructure, building, people think, geothermal, right? We got waterfalls, use geothermal, wind turbines, use that. But unfortunately, the projects here in the Philippines always, that corruption, the contract that gets the contract, unfortunately, a lot of times money gets stolen. That's the biggest, the scarcity of good energy here in the Philippines is one of the problems. That's why we're getting less investments here in the Philippines compared to Indonesia, or compared to Vietnam. And I don't think that's going to get fixed anytime soon. Like I said, there are plans to build like the semiconductor plant, all this, but uh, Philippines is still in the planning stage of building it. Places like Indonesia's already got it built. They're already selling that kind of stuff. That is what I'm trying to say. Go TV. JP said Go TV. When are you going to drive your multi? Does it have a name? Oh, no, no, I haven't heard a name yet. I haven't heard. Uh, I know the colonel was waiting on proper documentation to drive the multi-cab. That's why he's not driving it. It takes time sometimes here for the processing of paperwork, as far as especially on a used vehicle. And then the multi-cab, they're like, they put together the parts in Cebu, ship it here. So it has to do with the documentation, the registration on it. Could sugarcane be a good source of ethanol fuel? That would be great. That I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know where they would get. We got plenty of sugar cane here in the Philippines, but again, the same problem with there's plenty of rice planted in the Philippines, right? But I mean, we got here in Aklan, we're like one of the top producers of rice here in the Philippines, but we still have to import rice from other countries, because again, the price of rice, the way rice is processed here in the Philippines, it's almost like a rice cartel runs it. Same thing with sugar. There's a sugar cartel here. There's families and corporation here that controls a lot of the farming here in the Philippines. Your regular farmers here, the small time farmers, they cannot compete. They cannot compete with like the big corporations and the big families that control the the farming here in the Philippines. That's why I'm rooting for Belus, man. The vanilla. I'm rooting for Belus, but Belus got plans for that vanilla farm, though. He's got connections to make it to where once it starts producing vanilla, he's gonna export it to other countries to sell it. Because if he sells it here, the problem here in the Philippines, if you plant your own rice, if you plant your own corn, you plant your own sugar cane, whatever, pineapple, whatever you plant, you cannot compete with the big corporations here, because their prices are so low. They're politically connected here. You know, Uh, if you're looking at it as a small, it's okay. I mean, if you're farming for subsistence, homesteading, providing for your family, sell a little bit of it, but you cannot compete with the big corporations here. They're thousands of hectares worth of sugar cane, worth of a rice field. It's hard to compete with them. They control the price. YOLO! Philippines should be investing in solar. Give hundreds of thousands of job manufacturing panels, components, and installing, maintaining, create a decentralized electric system. There's solar here. There are like solar farms. I have seen that. There's always talk. They're even talking about putting solar out in the ocean, out in the water. But YOLO, you really have to be here to understand the dynamic here in the Philippines. Like I said, the level of corruption in the Philippines, if they would like produce if they would start a solar company here, building the factory itself, all that, there's going to be a lot of like under the table negotiation. It just takes so long. A lot of foreign investors, they're scared of the Philippines because of that. Not just because they're afraid of like a poor energy source here, also with the level of corruptions here. It's like it's hard to do business. A lot of foreign investor, they shy away from the Philippines. They go to Vietnam and Indonesia because they don't have to deal with the level of corruption here. The proof is in the pudding, right? Like I said, Vietnam, the last from 2015, 2023, over 40 billion. Indonesia, over 40 billion foreign investors. The Philippines, three. It's the way it is. It is the way it is here. Like I said, Vietnam, Indonesia, all these other countries in Southeast Asia, they're building mega factories. The Philippines, we keep building malls, unfortunately. Yes, sugarcane turning ethanol in Brazil. YOLO, the rich families and politicians have no. Thank you, YOLO, right? Thank you. It's like, and unfortunately, the rich families, they're the same people. It's like we got a political dynasty. They've been our politicians here in the Philippines since after World War II. The same. That's the dynamic that you will see here when you go here to the Philippines. The provinces, even cities here in the Philippines. It's the same family that like rotates year after year, 20, 30 years. Like I said, a political dynasty. They just the father retires, the son takes over, the son retires, the grandson takes over. And of course they how helpful are they going to be to the locals when they control everything, control everything here. That used to be the purpose of the Bataan power plant, but in 1986, Filipino were scammed. But yeah, I mean, we're still paying. I mean, I think people know the Bataan nuclear power plant. It shut down back in the 80s, and they're still paying for it. It's money borrowed from the World Bank. We're still paying the loan for that nuclear plant. It's never operated, and they're actually trying to, you can't just leave it, even though there's no nuclear power there. You just can't. There's still a little bit of maintenance happening, so there's even costs to like maintain the place. But we're still paying the World Bank, unfortunately, for that Bataan nuclear power plant. And it would be the same, like the gentleman recommending, why don't they, build like a solar farm? They have some here, but even if you start building it, the corruption level, it will be, there's going to be kickbacks when they're building it, kickbacks when they're building the factory, kickback on the land that's going to be. There's just so many ways that people take advantage of the situation here, unfortunately. It seemed like your eyeglasses are not the same size. Not the same size? And I don't know. It's like, looks pretty even to me. It looks pretty even to me. Lone, hey Lone Star, Alan, my good friend in Texas. Howdy, howdy, Alan. Hopefully, the future will be more positive and generous to all Filipinos, not just a few. Uh, unfortunately, Alan, I was born and raised here. I'm gonna be 60 years old here in the next couple of months. I'm not gonna see it in my lifetime. Unfortunately, the way the system is built in the Philippines, there's nothing anybody can do. I mean, it's so ingrained. The corruption level at so many levels here, the kickbacks, the bribes, all that. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna see it in my lifetime, unfortunately. Most Filipinos here understand that. There are people that try to like buck the system or make noise, and fortunately, it doesn't end well for those people. A lot of times, it's like exchange rate. Flyboy, I think Belus mentioned it earlier, is 60.70, nearing 61 on the exchange rate. The Philippines just got so many things they have to fix. You got electricity issues, you got flood issues. There's a big scandal on the flood issues. Uh, I mean, even taxes here. Even like taxes here are, to me, taxes here are high. Like the VAT, the VAT tax is 12%. Imagine being taxed on everything you buy 12%. I think California, I think, has a 12%, right? But for a country that's so poor, you're taxing the people on everything they buy like a 12%. Kind of like a state tax at 12% is what the VAT means to me. It's like I pay it. It's like I pay it when I bought my car. I bought my brand new car at the Toyota dealership. I paid 12% tax on it. It was over 60,000 pesos tax, but I'm happy to pay it, because I can afford it. I pay the part. But can you imagine, like, if you're a Filipino, it's hard enough to get ahead, and now you're paying 12% tax on a vehicle, on a TV, on a refrigerator. It's like, they should at least lower that 12%, man. 12% is pretty high. That's like California type taxes there. Did you know the waste plastic can be chemical treated and turned back into oil? I've seen stuff like recycling plastic. I've seen, but they don't do enough of it. It's like it's not widely used. I'm sure they discourage anything that will be helpful or be cheaper. It'll be cheaper. They want people to spend. They want, even like, one of the things here in the Philippines, the Philippines is one of the top producer of plastic waste. We get thrown in the ocean, ends up in the ocean, because a lot of things here in the Philippines, unfortunately, ends up in the ocean, right? We're like one of the culprits in the world, uh, uh, getting plastics out in the ocean. And a lot of the reason for that is the sachet. Everything here in the Philippines is a sachet. Like you can buy a shampoo in a little plastic sachet, one use to use the shampoo, conditioner, lotion, oil, like cooking oil. Everything's in plastic sachet. Coffee. You can buy my Copico Blanca. One cup of coffee comes in a plastic sachet. And what happens to the plastic? They don't recycle it. They might bury some of it, but a lot of the plastic, unfortunately, ends up in the ocean. And why is that allowed? Why is those little? To me, they should like ban it, right? They should ban the sachet. If the sachet is the cause of plastic getting into the ocean water, world ocean water, they should ban it. But why don't they ban it, right? The reason they don't ban it is like corporation make a ton of money on it. You know, uh, if you buy a bottle of shampoo, you can get twice the money if you sell them in little sachets. So the corporate, they allowed companies here to sell the little sachets because they make twice the money than like a one bottle of shampoo. You know, The big corporations make the money. If you really want to cut down on the plastic pollution, eliminate the sachet. Eliminate the sachet. Make them put it in bottles. Make them put the shampoo in bottles instead of plastic. Hey Gino, even selling vanilla local markets can make money, just not as much. Yeah, that's good. That's good though if you can sell it locally. But you know, I don't know how much market it would be in the local market. If I know, it just makes sense for you to sell it abroad if you can get more money, more money. I don't see vanilla. I don't see vanilla here in Aklan. I've never seen vanilla sold here in Aklan province. So maybe once you produce it and show it to the local market, maybe there would be like an industry for it. But I've never seen it. The only vanilla I've seen here, Belus, is that like McCormick. The McCormick liquid is the only vanilla I've seen here. I've never seen like a stalk of vanilla like in the U.S. I've never seen it here. All farmers need vanilla to subsidize their other local crops. It will work for a better life for the farm. Hey, good luck, man. I wish you nothing but the best, man. Anything to help the Filipinos, right? If they can sell the vanilla for a good price here in the Philippines, man, I'm all for that for sure, man. I know that's your goal. I know that's your goal to like improve the lives of Filipinos in your community, and that's such a blessing, man. You're a blessing to your community. Captain Ron, 8.2 tax on everything in Texas. See, Captain Ron, imagine that, Captain Ron. You're paying 8.25 tax in everything in Texas. We're paying 12. We're paying 12 here in the Philippines. It's like, why are we paying higher tax than you? What kind of services do we get here? At least I know in Texas, I'm sure the residents of Texas are getting more out of that 8% from the government. Here in the Philippines, we just, the government here in the Philippines, one thing they're good at here is just giving money away to like the poor, which I understand, that's the way it works here. I understand that. But I know even the workers here, even the middle class workers or the middle class businessmen here in the Philippines, I know they're complaining about that, how they're getting taxed and then their money is going to like the poor people here, that everything's subsidized. There's ayuda, grant to the people, or there's people that don't work. They don't work, and they just like kind of like welfare in the U.S. Welfare, food stamps. There's things like that here in the Philippines, and they're taxing people that are working to like subsidize. But hey, that's the system we work in. So. But to me, they can lower that 12% a little bit, right? To make it like 8%, man. Washington State had 8.2 sales tax where I was at. Yeah, at least 8 seems reasonable. 12 is just like, man, to me, 12 is like highway robbery. Where is 12% going to? It's going directly to the government. Yeah. The one thing good here, though, one thing you'll notice, they put the VAT, the 12% VAT, on the price of what you're getting. So a lot of times it kind of tricks you. You don't see it. The businesses have to pay it to the government. Like if you see an item on sale at the mall, or a price when you're buying something, if it says 100 pesos, you're paying 100 pesos. It's not like in the US where it might say 9.99, but at the counter when you pay extra because they put in the tax. Here at least it's already in the price, but the business themselves, they're the ones that have to pay the tax. Even the gasoline that we pay, there's a tax on gasoline here also. When I say local, I mean in the Philippines. Only 20K was exported last year. Vanilla will change the face of the province. Man, I hope, man, I'm rooting for you, Belus, man. I want that to happen. I want that to happen. I hope that it really works out, man. Wyoming, 6% reason small oil, gas, coal is taxed so passed down. Yeah, but here, like when we buy anything at the mall, when we buy, there's a 12% VAT. When you eat at McDonald's, when you eat at Jollibee, there's a 12% VAT, the tax, the government tax here in the Philippines. So for expats that say I don't pay any taxes in the Philippines, you are paying taxes here. Anytime you buy anything here, you're paying 12% tax on it. I hear you, Gino. It's crazy. Thank goodness for the exchange rate. Right, right. I know, man. The exchange rate, for foreigners or even Filipinos, that many Filipinos here, like my neighborhood here, half of the people here, their husbands and wives are working abroad, sending dollars here to them. And that's why there's a community here. That's why we have a subdivision here that can afford it. The people that's really in a bind are the ones that don't have any dollars coming in. But people manage here because, like, here in the province, very simple way of living here. Most people in the province, like here in Aklan province, they don't worry about the same worry as like Americans living foreigners. They're just happy to have a place to sleep, and they can provide for their family. They're not worried about cars, property insurance, all a lot of times people don't even have medical insurance here, and people, that's just the way it is. That's they live easier lives. Um, a lot of times when I see the people here, like the farmers, the fishermen, their life is just so simple that they don't really stress about. I know they're not stressing about like the energy crisis or whatever. For them, it's like people here in the province. Belus can tell you this. You know, a lot of houses here in the province don't even have electricity. A lot of them got lamps. Gas lamps or wood or whatever. Candles even. JP, is the 12% tax on food from the local market? That one, you might be getting away with not. With not, I would have to double check. But if you go to the grocery, Save More, SM Cherry, Grand Gaisano, McDonald's, any food court, they're paying the 12%. Maybe the public market, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's a way. But I'm sure the public market people, they have to pay for their stall, and they got to pay for their mayor permit. So maybe that's how, there's always ways for them to collect taxes here, unfortunately, especially for business people. I learned that when we ran the resto bar in Katiklan. It's like, man, there's like a permit for this, permit for that, permit. There's like a tax permit for everything here, man. Lash stick is included in the price already, unlike in the US where you get, yeah, right. That's why I mentioned that. The VAT is already included. You don't get blindsided. You don't get all of a sudden, dang, I thought it was only $10. What's this $10.80? Where does 80 come from? Here it's already included. That the tax is already included. Grouper, $8 a pound, shrimp $5 a pound to fill. I'm good with that. Oh yeah. I mean, if you're a seafood person and you live in places like Aklan province, where half of the province is coastal, you will love it here. Like where Edgar is, like New Washington, Aklan, that's the seafood capital of the Aklan province. Oysters, fish, shrimp, you name it, he gets it at a good price. No, nowhere near what you would pay in America for sure. You would love it here if you're a seafood person. Even like the local produce, like me, I love the lettuce, cabbage, all, you can get a good price here in the province. All right, I'm at the 2 hour mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream right here. Finish watching my Dodger game. Finish watching my Dodger game. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live stream this morning. I appreciate everybody's time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and everyone, stay blessed. Stay blessed.